Greetings. My name is Dr. Sean Reynolds. Please join me on my journey to becoming Dr. Reynolds. I completed my Doctor of Business Administration from Georgia State University in May of 2020. My research focused on the behavioral adoption patterns of surgeons with respect to new surgical technologies. My dissertation title is entitled as Factors Influencing Surgeon Adoption of Technology in the Medical Device Industry.
Why did you decide to pursue a doctorate degree?
When I was younger, my mother basically imprinted the possibility of getting that done on me when I was a kid growing up in Detroit, Michigan. Although probably not the doctor she envisioned, but I think she envisioned a medical doctor, but a doctoral degree nonetheless. As I got older, finished out my graduate schooling for my MBA, and started advancing in my career in the medical device industry, I realized I wanted to take my business skill set, my business acumen to another level than what I've seen my colleagues able to do. So I really decided to go back because I wanted to learn research-based methodologies to address some of the complexities that we're developing with respect to marketing innovation in the healthcare industry.
Why did you choose to pursue your doctorate in business administration at Georgia State University?
It was important to me that I go to a world-class institution, and I wanted to have faculty that were highly regarded. So in my research, I found that the Georgia State program was very respectable with respect to the world of DBAs. In fact, these faculty members were so accomplished, they were recently recognized, and my advisors specifically was one of 15 of the world's most cited business researchers. So I was really pleased with some of the work that the institution has done, and more from a more anecdotal aspect. In my research, GSU was the only school that was willing to sit down with me and discuss what the program was about. They helped me address my concerns of if I was ready for this journey. Going into it, you sort of have some self-doubt, a bit of imposter syndrome, and it quickly got me to understand that my performance with my MBA at Boston University, and then with the depth of my business knowledge and exposure in a very technical side of the medical device industry, that I was well suited and prepared for such a journey. So just with them being able to sit down and spend that hour and a half with me, that meant the world to me. And actually, it was the only school I applied to as a result.
Describe your support system along the journey.
I had the support of my sisters who lived in Atlanta. Both of my sisters were there. And so in the beginning of the program, when I would fly in, I would just stay with them. That way I didn't have the additional financial requirement of getting a hotel room or getting a rental car. So I would just use one of their cars or take the MARTA back and forth as I needed. And I attended school 3 days out of the month. So and that also gave me the opportunity to see my sisters at least once a month, where before school, I think I only saw them really a couple times a year. So obviously they provided shelter, food, and encouragement. And then when my wife came into the picture, she was extremely supportive, as she understood the doctoral journey as much as anyone else, because she's also, she has her PhD in clinical psychology. So it was really helpful to sort of talk through some of these theories, the doctoral challenges I was experiencing, the aspects of writing the dissertation, just really support me in that aspect, and in being my cheerleader. So she sacrificed a lot during that dating period of me being in school, because I was always tired and mentally drained. But without her and my sisters, it would have been a much more challenging journey, I would say.
If you could describe your doctoral journey in one word, what would that word be?
I thought about this a couple months ago, and unfortunately, I would say that one word is blur. It was a blur. My schedule was just so busy with the work and then the studying. I barely remember anything that was not work or school related. I had birthdays. I had time with the family. Don't tell my wife this, even times with her. It was a blur, but it was worthwhile. I wouldn't do it I wouldn't do it differently. And I would do it again. To the point where I've even thought about, should I go back to school and get another doctorate? But I don't know what the ROI would be on that, so I'll give myself a couple years.
What are your postdoctoral career plans? What are you doing now?
I've always worked with companies that were always related to the surgical side. So when you look at what this aspect of healthcare is called, the patient care continuum, surgery is always at the very right side of that continuum, at the very end. Surgery is the last thing you want to do to try to address whatever the disease state has done to affect the body. Well, now I had an opportunity to move to the very beginning, and I've changed my focus from surgical to much more Medtech related. And I did this by joining Kohler Company as their Associate Director of Marketing and Business Development for a new Medtech division that we are building within Kohler. So I am responsible for establishing the strategy and the product pipeline that will feed into this new division. And so we're looking at digital health products, remote patient monitoring products that will put the control back into the consumer or the patient at the very beginning, and bring innovations into the home, into the bathroom, into the kitchen space, so that they can monitor certain disease states and use that information working with their physicians to help improve their health. Ultimately plan to find an adjunct role at a university so that I can teach marketing and technology. And I just want to continue to provide my expertise and influence to help support the integration of more diverse individuals.
How has BDN helped you personally or professionally?
It helps me professionally because I'm a marketer at heart. And so I am always looking at ways of marketing myself. No one's going to market for you. And so even with putting together this podcast with the Black PhD Network, it will be extremely helpful. I'm looking forward to be able to post it on my LinkedIn page. I'm looking forward to be able to put it on my own personal website. That's something I think everyone should do, especially if you're on the business side of things. You need to brand yourself, create your own personal website. But this podcast helps you because I give you what my journey was, and hopefully it's going to help someone who's probably thinking, should I do this or should I not do this? What questions do I have? Wow, he had answers to the very questions that I was already thinking about. So it's a very symbiotic relationship here. So.
Thank you for joining us on this edition of the Becoming Doctor podcast. We'll see you next time.